Wow. 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 Wow.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome inside the studios at CAS. This is another edition of the John and Rich Kean Sports Show. I'm with my co-host, Richard Zeller. Rich, how you doing today, boss?
Doing great, John. It's a little hot in here, but we're back for our fourth episode of Kean Sports. Excited. Once again, we got Rob in the building, and I'm here with you, so it's always a good time.
Yes, Rob Bergman, Richard Zeller, and myself, John Mastice.
You forgot how to say your name?
Yeah, no, I forgot to say it at the top, so I was like, we were kind of scrambling before the show started. Rob came to the rescue with the jetpack, so we got internet. Because Kean had no internet this Thursday afternoon, of course, so I had no stats or anything in front of me. Couldn't play my recordings, but now we are good to go. So, Rich, I wanted to start with the football game that happened last weekend at TCNJ.
Disappointment. They lost 7-3.
Yeah, and we're not going to sugarcoat it. Why should we? They lost 7-3 to a team that they should have beat. Let's be honest. That they'll beat 9 times out of 10, and they just did not play a good game at all. They lost 7-3. They scored on their first drive to make it 3-0, and after that, nothing.
And it's a disappointment because you had those 2 wins in a row. You thought you were coming back. Your season was starting to move, and now you took the 2 losses in a row to Rowan last week, right?
Yeah,
they were 0-3 or 0-4 at the time, and now you lost to TCNJ. You're losing the fourth quarter. You can't score throughout the game. And a block punt is what cost you the game?
Yeah, it was a block punt that cost the game, and I asked Coach Garrett this, how many times have you lost a game where your defense doesn't give up a point? And, he said I could put it on one hand, how many. And probably, I would probably only happen like maybe one other time. You don't lose games where your defense doesn't give up a point. It just doesn't happen, but that's what happened to Kean.
And on paper, Kean had 300 yards, TCNJ had 158. Pass yards, Kean had 237, TCNJ had 77. First downs, Kean had 15, TCNJ had 11. Third down, 6 for 18 Kean, 2 for 11 TCNJ. Time possession, 34 minutes to 25 minutes. And the only stat they cost them really at the end, like you said, was the penalties you said before we got on there.
There you go. Penalties, 10 penalties for 103 yards. And they came. It really mattered when they came. It was at big opportunities for Kean to either extend the lead or take the lead, and
But even to say it like that, you can't say the penalties cost them the game because they didn't score off a penalty. They scored off the block punt.
They did.
That led to the touchdown.
But the offense also only put up 3 points. So
that's for hurt you, yeah.
Yeah, and you those push you back, especially the 15-yard varieties, which they had a couple of. And listen, it doesn't matter who it was. It happened, and it took them out of field goal range. Pushed them out of the red zone, and in the end, that's what really killed Kean. They should not be losing to a team like TCNJ, and Coach Garrett knows that. And he's going to fix it up for this weekend because he knows he has to. Because here comes Salisbury, 12th in the nation, I think they are. It's somewhere around there, 10th or 12th. I'll be calling the game with Richard on Saturday. They definitely need to fix it up for when Salisbury comes in.
Yeah, it's just hard that now you got to fix it up. It's like you said, this was an opponent they should beat, and I'm sure Salisbury's coming into this game thinking Kean is an opponent we should beat 9 times out of 10. Yeah. So it's a tough game to try to recuperate after those 2 tough losses.
Yeah, the Seagulls are coming into town, and
did you see their logo? It's hilarious. It's like the most muscular seagull
cool.
In the world.
I like it.
He's got the classic college sweater on right there with just the S across it.
Yeah, and as I try and pull up all my stats here, because of course I was late hooking up to the internet. Yes, Salisbury's 10th in the country. They are 5-0. They beat Wesley, which is a great win, obviously. They're coming off a 38-7 win against Rowan, and now they got Kean. And I talked to Coach Garrett about Salisbury. They're obviously, if you know them, all they run is the option football, and Kean has to plan for that. I'm trying to pull up last year's results, but of course I can't. But
regardless, though, something needs to be changed because you're going to possibly facing 2-5.
Yeah. You don't want to drop the 2-5. It's a tough situation because let's be honest, the last 2 teams you played, Rowan was good. I know they came in 0-4, but
they had some tough
They
losses.
played Wesley tough. who's another really good nationally ranked team. They weren't your typical 0-4 team. They were good, but that's probably a game that you look back on.
Your
the
brother
schedule.
goes to TCNJ, right?
Yeah, he does.
So did he give you any?
No.
No, he didn't trash talk you. Talk you a
Because
little bit.
I don't think he really. No.
Oh, he's not into sports like that.
No, I was because. Well, we'll talk to you about all fair, but yeah, like when you went through Kean's schedule, you probably circled Rowan and TCNJ as teams that not you will beat, but you could and probably should beat. Correct? Because you have Wesley and Salisbury and Delaware Valley. Those are the games you knew that would be tough. But you look at teams like Rowan and TCNJ, and those are the teams that you want to beat. For sure.
And then we get this weekend.
Yeah, then we have this weekend. I'm trying to look up last year's stats. Bear with me, but
Did you get a chance to talk to Coach at all this week yet, or no?
Coach Garrett? Yeah, I did. But yeah. We coming up on the show, we have interviews with volleyball. We have interviews with women's soccer, and yeah, I'm gonna try and talk to Coach Matt Kreider before Saturday just to see his game plan for how to attack the option.
Yeah, so you're trying to find out. So last year, Kean lost to Salisbury 28-0.
All right, well, 28-0.
In the second week of the season.
If you gave up 28 points to Salisbury Saturday, I think you would probably be happy, wouldn't you? Because you know you're going to have to score.
You're happy if you score 29.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. That's a good point. But, I mean, if you give up 28, here it is. Finally, I got it. Like 10 minutes too late. But,
Sorry, John, I had you.
Yeah, you had me. But, yeah, if you give up 28, I think you would take that. You know, if you're Kean, you're going to have to score points to win. You had good games. You scored 40, whatever it was, 47 against Dean. You scored 30 against Christopher Newport. We know Broccoletti can put it in the air and move the ball. He has good receivers like Toppin and Aubin Bryant. He has a really good running back in Jesse Asari. Offensive line is improving. This team, this offense is good. They can move the ball. It's just the penalties at the inopportune times that push them back, and it's really just screwed them over. That's basically it.
Well, I think the big thing you saw in those two wins back-to-back were the running game.
Bam.
And against TCNJ, Asari had 18 yards. I think they had like 70 yards total rushing for that game. So you got to get back to what was working for you. But they're already at 100% more wins than last season, right? So they got 2 wins this season. Last year they had 1. So with a few games left, John, what do you think would be a happy medium?
Well, I said before the Rowan game, I said the next 2 games are winnable. Let's give them 1. So I'm already 1 off. Salisbury's going to be tough. William Patterson, they could beat. Wesley's going to be tough. And Montclair's going to be tough. But I would say that there are the 4 games left. Your best bets are William Patterson and Montclair.
So 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's realistic, don't you think? Hey, I'm holding out hope that they shock D3 football and pull off the upset against Salisbury. It'd be a heck of a game to call.
Any given Sunday, John.
Absolutely.
But
we're on
week
Saturday.
you can win. Saturday, yeah.
College, man. College.
But the saying is any given Sunday. I don't believe it's any given Saturday, even modified.
Yeah. Well,
but the idea is there, John. Huh?
Yeah. But yeah, and it's homecoming, right, Rob? Yeah, so definitely get out to that game. And
this is the homecoming game. That's right, because everyone keeps asking about this. Oh, you're going to be homecoming? And I was like, I'll probably be at the football game calling it. But
yeah.
The school is excited for the homecoming. I do have a lot of people coming up to me and asking me about it.
Yeah, and hopefully it's packed, and hopefully they make it loud and tough for Salisbury to move the ball. And,
football has the good crowd.
Yeah.
People be out there tailgating.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be, I think, kind of cool, but it's going to be a beautiful day, I believe. And
it's always a good day for football.
Always a good day for football. And
just not Cowboys football.
Rich and I will. Why'd you got to do that, man? Why you got to mention the Cowboys?
It's all good, John. I got love for you.
Hey, we got that win last week, so it's all good. All right, so let's move on to volleyball.
All right.
And
so your favorite sport? Go ahead, talk to us. You got the interviews, right?
Yeah, I do have interviews, and I'm going to set that up soon. But let's talk about the weekend they had. They had the North Jersey Challenge at Harwood Arena. They played 4 games: Hamilton, Hunter, Northwestern of Minnesota, and St. John's Fisher. And they fared pretty well. They went 3-1. They lost to a really good Northwestern team from Minnesota, straight sets. But, they battled. And Friday night, Coach Perkins and his squad wanted to keep me there till 11 to find out if they would win 2 games or not. And they did, but, both went 5 sets, of course, and I was there till 11 o'clock. But at least they won. I would have been really mad if I stayed there till 11 and they had lost 1 or 2.
I think you pointed something out on Saturday when I saw you during the field hockey game that you were saying when the volleyball teams face any team from the Midwest, it's like they just look so overmatched. I think the teams from the Midwest are, I wouldn't say overmatched. I'm sure I think they played Kenyon, who was kind of near there, and they beat them in 4 sets. But a lot of those teams from the Midwest are just really, really good teams, I would say. Yeah,
and
that's what you said when you came to the booth. You were just saying like they look just so much
they
different
did.
out there,
no
matter what the team is.
Against Northwestern, Northwestern definitely looked like the better team.
You said what?
Disciplined, executed.
Yeah, they're disciplined. They execute. They're where they are, where they're supposed to be when, if Kean serves, they're there to set up a play and finish it off. And Northwestern definitely had their number.
Go ahead. The Kean volleyball team had a couple award winners this week.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. But
say it now.
No, say it now. Say it now.
Okay. So Kortnee Nelson was named the New Jersey Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week, and Sedona Guard has been tabbed the NJAC Rookie of the Week for the 2nd straight week.
Yes.
So 2 weeks in a row, that's not bad at all.
Sedona Guard, who's a freshman, has been phenomenal for this team. Really good. I think she's 3rd on the team in kills as a freshman, only behind Jessie Larkin and Zoe Strozewski. She has been really great for Coach Perkins, and 3 more years of her. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'll be on the call tonight when they play FDU Florham. I don't know much about FDU Florham. I actually have them up right here.
That's at 7 p.m.
7 p.m., yes, and you can listen to that, as always, live on CaneAthletics.com. So FDU Florham, and then the big one. The big one is next week, Tuesday. They have their NJAC finale against Stockton, home at Harwood Arena. So hopefully it's a packed house for that. FDU Florham is 8-13, by the way, so hopefully they can beat them tonight. But Stockton is getting votes to be nationally ranked. I don't think they're ranked as of now, but they only have like 1 or 2 losses on the season. They are a good team. Kean's going to have their hands full if they want to repeat as NJAC champions for the 3rd time, and it starts with the finale of the end of regular season NJAC play against Stockton Tuesday night, Harwood Arena, 7 o'clock.
The place to be?
Yeah, I would say it's the place to be on campus. And I think they still could get the 1 seed in the tournament, I believe. Maybe not. Rob's like giving me the half and half look. But
that Rowan game plays a factor into a lot.
Yeah, the Rowan is right there too. So, and they lost to Rowan, which is their only NJAC loss there, 6-1. I think Stockton's undefeated. Yeah, so, but if they beat Stockton, then they're tied and they have the head-to-head, but then it depends on what Rowan does. And then we get into all these tiebreakers. But
they got the competition out there.
Main thing is, big game against Stockton, and it kind of sets the tone going into the tournament. So that is cool. This week, I got to interview Brianna Calvano, Zoe Strozewski, and Kortnee Nelson, and of course, Coach Don Perkins. They gave us great stuff, me and Rob, and I'm going to play it, and then we'll talk about it. Take a listen. Tons of accomplishments at Kean, personal and team-wise. Did you ever think when you first came here as a freshman that all these achievements were possible?
Never in a million years did I think I would be able to get my 3,000th assist and win 2 NJAC championships. I was behind 2 amazing setters when I was coming in, and I thought it was just going to be a learning experience at that point, but I guess Don saw something in me and allowed me to take the ropes my sophomore year, so that was really nice.
You had your 3,000th assist, as you mentioned. You sit in 2nd place all time. Talk to me about the moment you had your 3,000th assist, and what's it been like setting up your teammates for the last 4 years?
It's been really amazing, especially when I got that assist. My parents were there cheering me on. All of my teammates were screaming. Kortnee came and trucked me on the court, and being able to set my teammates it's been awesome, and especially having some best friends on the court, it's just an amazing experience.
You mentioned best friends. You and Jessie are both seniors. Talk to me how enjoyable it's been playing alongside her and how much talent she has.
Playing next to Jessie is an experience. She's very competitive, so she kind of brings that out in me. And like I said, she's one of my best friends, so being able to set her and just see how excited she gets and how talented she is, it's just, I don't know, it's everything I could have asked for.
Thanks, Brie. Kortnee, over 1,500 digs. You're on pace to break your personal season dig record. For someone who just watches from afar like myself, tell me the mentality you have to be giving up your body every night on the hardwood. It can't be easy. For me, it looks like one of the hardest things that you could possibly do.
I kind of have this is a bigger than me mentality. Like, I work hard because that's the culture of this program. I work hard to make the job of the next person easier. I work hard so Bree doesn't have to run all over the court.
Thank you.
I just try to do it for my team because I like to see my team succeed, and when you only have the power to have one contact or the first contact when there's 2 to 3 usually, I just try to make it as easy as possible for my team to succeed.
So obviously you're from California. What made you want to come all the way to the East Coast to play for Coach Perkins and Kean University?
So this is something that I get probably once a day from somebody. There's a lot of aspects that go into me choosing Kean. I originally came out here for a visit to visit multiple schools on the East Coast, and I remember telling multiple schools out here it was too far. But I came to realize that the whole aspect of the school or the program wasn't worth going that far until I saw Kean. I loved how diverse it was. I loved how big the school was. I liked the culture of the team. Don, what he does for the team is amazing, and that's just everything you ask for in a coach. And when you have that belief from a coach, it makes it possible to go that far from home.
Thanks, Kortnee. Zoe, each year your single season kill total has gone up. This year's no different. What work do you put in the off season that shows the results in the box score?
Well, every off season, I just know that no matter how good I am at volleyball now, I can always get better. That's a mindset I carry into the off season. So I've always set goals for myself. After my freshman year, that was good learning year for me, and I also needed to get stronger all around. So I did a lot of strength training. After my sophomore year, I wanted to maintain all of that while also building up my endurance because we lost a couple key players last year. So I wanted to become a player that the team could rely on more. I also just attribute a lot of my success to the other players on the team, like Bree. She sets me literally from the back row. She sets me every opportunity she can. And I really couldn't get where I am without her, and other people like Kortnee too, getting all those digs.
Yeah, that was leading into my next question. How great of a setter is Bree, and how great has it been playing with her for the last 3 seasons?
I'm not just saying this. Bree is the best setter I've ever had in my whole entire life. And I've also gotten to work with her longer than any setter I've had in my entire life. Not many people get the amount of time with her that I've had. In high school, every single year I had a different setter. But being with her for 3 years has given me this opportunity to develop a really good connection with her. And I attribute so much of my success to her because she gives me every opportunity to score. And also, she's just so great for the team in general because, she hustles, she hits the ground for balls, and she also is a really great presence on the court, too. She keeps our spirits high. So she's a really good person to play with.
Thanks, Zoe.
Somebody asked me a couple weeks ago, they said, well, next year, can the other setters do what Bree does? And I'm like, no one's crazy enough to try some of the stuff Bree tries. Most people think when you get in trouble, you got to go outside, you got to set the slower ball, and Bree's I don't feel comfortable doing that. So she kind of runs the entire offense upside down, and that we run the middle. The harder things get, the more we run the middle, and everybody else goes the opposite direction. We're kind of running into the fire in that respect. And it's certainly having the middles that we've had the last couple of years has allowed Bree to do what kind of comes naturally to her. And I think Zoe's attributing Bree to her success, but I think it goes both ways. I think it's this collection of players just allows the kind of bring out the best in each other.
So this last one's for Bree and Kortnee. Bree could go first, and Kortnee. Quickly describe, not quickly, but just describe shortly, how fun it's been playing volleyball for Kean University the last 4 seasons.
It's been all that I could have asked for. I met my maid of honor that's going to be at my wedding, Kortnee. I met...
Is there some news we don't know about?
Well, you are. Sorry if you didn't know.
Nah, I expected it.
I've met lifelong best friends. I've developed these relationships that I never thought I would have again after high school. Like, my high school team was very close. And I told my mom, I was like, I don't know if I want to play in college. I can't see myself getting that close with people again. But it's been 10 times more than what I could have ever imagined, and it's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, if you saw me and Bree off the court, you would just know we're 2 peas in a pod. Like, this is my person, and I think that connection and chemistry definitely flows onto the court. Like I said, a lot of my success, I want to be better so she can have more opportunities to play, and I think that just having that connection on and off the court has definitely attributed to a lot of our success within this program and with each other.
Thanks, guys. Don Perkins. Coach, your team has won back-to-back NJAC championships. You're looking for the 3rd title this year in a row. Has there been a lot, if any, talk of a 3-peat on your team?
I think over the summer and into the preseason, I think that, you look at the whole season as a whole, and there was some talk about that kind of thing. And I think where we are as a program, we should have the goal to win, and that would make it a 3-peat. But at the same point, I think once you get into the season, you get into the thick of it. You're just trying to look at 1 or 2 games ahead, and what's going to take to get past the next opponent, the next challenge, and if we conquer those one step at a time, we'll hopefully be where we want to be at the end of the season. But you can't kind of swallow it in one big gulp. It's got to be bite by bite.
You mentioned your next opponent. Stockton isn't necessarily your next opponent, but they're coming up, and they sit at the top of the conference at 6-0. How important of a game is this, knowing it plays a pretty big role in the seedings and knowing that this is going to be your last NJAC regular season game?
Yeah, I've thought about that a little bit. On one hand, it's a big game because it's Stockton, and it's a team that we've considered a rival for a couple of years now. Obviously you always want to beat those teams, and whenever you get an opportunity to, and they're a good team. Whenever you get a chance to play a good team, you want to beat them. I think the really big game is going to be what happens when we comes into the playoffs. And this is still the regular season. We've cinched our playoff spot and whatnot. In the officially, it's maybe not as important as we were thinking it was going to be at one point. But I think still to the players involved on both sides of the net, I think you're going to see a very passionate, very competitive, fiery game from both teams.
Now, obviously, nothing is definite. You still have the regular season and the conference tournament left, but you played some pretty good competition this year with Babson, more recently Northwestern. Obviously, you still have Stockton. Do you think this type of competition can prepare you for possible NCAA tournament, which you've been to the last 2 years, which you've been close to moving on? Do you think that competition can help you get over the hump?
That's the goal. Obviously, to be the best, you have to beat the best, and you can't beat them if you don't play them. And that's something, there's a lot of schools out there that don't take that approach, and they have their own method, and it gets them to a certain point. I think we're looking to continue to climb, and each season. And I think when we got to the NCAA tournament 2 years ago, when Bree and Kortnee and this group were sophomores, I remember Jesse saying, I can't believe I'm here already. But this wasn't the destination. That was the next step kind of thing. And we've been fortunate for the 11 years I've been here. We've never taken a step backwards. It's always been either as far as we got the year before or one step further. And so we certainly want to continue that. We certainly want to continue to move forward into the NCAA tournament and hopefully win games there. But that starts with one game at a time. It starts with FDU on Thursday. It starts with Stockton on Tuesday, and the NJAC tournament next week. So we've still got some improvements to do. I think we're going to learn. Northwestern on Saturday was one of the toughest teams we're going to play this year. I think there's some things that they did that I'd like to see us incorporate a little more of. And we get to practice, and we'll see how that we go starting to adopt some of those things that we see in other teams. But yeah, I mean, Babson's one of the best teams in the country, and we competed with them, so at that point you got to feel confident going on the court with anybody. Northwestern, we had some rallies that if we were trying to keep the ball alive that long, I don't know that we could have, but they ultimately prevailed in a lot of them, but that we were able to hang on to those points for as long as we have. There's a lot of teams that don't do that, can't do that. It doesn't necessarily reflect in the score at the end of the day, but it was good volleyball on our part, and if we play at that level against the teams remaining, we should be fairly well off.
What's it like seeing Bree, Kortnee, and all your seniors play for the last 4 years and grow on and off the court?
Yeah, and every player has their own arc, their own story, and everybody had, we have expectations that we kind of set when we recruit people and whatnot. Jessie is somebody that from the minute she came on campus, we knew she was pretty good. She's been pretty good, and in the beginning when she was a freshman, you're like, well, how's she going to get better? And yet she has, and she's done some really special things over 4 years, and by any definition is going to go down as one of the top middle hitters in a program that's had a lot of really good middle hitters. Kortnee, from her sophomore year on, has been everything we could ask for, and seeing her with all the potential in the world to fulfill it and mature and take look at the game differently, has really as a coach you appreciate that. I don't know how much I had to do with it, but I think the coaching staff as a whole takes pleasure in seeing the things she does on the court, and just the maturity she has as a senior. Whatever we do next year, it's hard to replicate that, and how she changes our defense, and sometimes she's seeing things that we haven't even seen yet. So, Bree is this era of middles at Kean. I don't know that it happens without her. It wasn't necessarily the plan. It was just kind of she started doing some things, and it's like this is good. We're going to win with this. And I actually meant to do the numbers at some point, but I mean, if you look at the winning percentage of the games that Bree started at Setter, it's pretty ridiculous. And that goes back to her freshman year. We had a setter get hurt, and it was okay, Bree, go, and she went. And I don't know if she knew where she was going or what she was doing, but she figured it out pretty quick, and has been a foundational player for us for 3.5 seasons now. And then Jessa Icona is another senior. You're not going to see the numbers on the stat sheet, but her contribution to the program is every bit as large. And one of our players, Vicky Steck, graduated last year, had an opportunity to play with an all-star team in Brazil, and she's like, the attitudes and the egos, whatever, star players, and she says, I just miss having Jess behind me. It just makes it all more fun, and it makes it worth it to have a player on the team who literally is there, busting their butt every day for the good of everybody else involved. And these are 4 players that they've all just meant so much to this program. And so as a coaching staff, we're starting to schedule for next year, and our recruits are talking about next year, and it's like I just want to appreciate the last 2-3 weeks here, and because once they're gone, you can't get these days back. So we'll try to appreciate every moment in the gym, every moment in the games, and for the fans who have seen them play, I know they hopefully appreciate what they're seeing, and for the people who haven't seen us play yet, we've got a couple home games left. Get on out and see this, because you may not see some of these things again.
Yeah, I could vouch for that. Great team, fun to watch. Thanks, Coach. Rob, you got anything for us?
Kortnee, what's it been like working with Sedona this year, especially as like the upperclassman? I know she's had a few Rookie of the Weeks.
Yeah.
So
she has a lot of potential. She came in, I kind of saw, like Don said, Jessie came in, was a good player. Sedona came in, and she's a good player. And for a freshman class to come in, this is the first time in the past 4 years where a freshman class was required to have this much, what's the word? Impact. They were required to have a lot of impact on this team, because that's what we needed, and she kind of came in and stepped into that role, and it's been great watching her play. And I will definitely be looking back even when I'm gone to see how she can grow.
Like, same question, Bree. The future's bright. Like Kayla and Morgan and all those freshmen. Like, what are you doing to help?
I think I'm just trying to help them in any way that I can. I know all of us as seniors we're all just trying to make everyone's learning experience that much more, because I know when I was a freshman, all I wanted to do was learn. And I think they all look up to us, even looking up to the sophomores and the juniors. They're all just looking for that little bit of help that they might have not gotten in high school to get that much better.
Zoe, All-American last year, from freshman to sophomore.
Yeah.
Where did it click, and where did the light turn on? You're like, I get this, and it just feels good. And
Like, I've said it before, like, freshman year it set this amazing example for me because, yeah, I didn't play much, but I got to see this new standard of volleyball and, like, work ethic that I'd never seen before. So, like, that just completely changed my mindset, and working all of off season after my freshman year and going into my second season, I just knew that that's the kind of player I needed to be. And so I told myself to be the player, and it worked.
how big has Audrey been in your development?
Audrey
love her.
She's just one of the greatest coaches I've ever had the chance to work with. Like, she was an All-American middle, right? Yeah. She was All-American middle. So she sees everything that I don't even see. She corrects me when I'm doing things wrong and also tells me what I'm doing right. She's great support and also a good, I don't want to say like critic because that sounds like she's being mean, but she tells you what I need to be better in. And I want to do it for her because she's such a great coach.
Don, Audrey, how big has she been in the role, especially her and Jesse?
People ask, what do you mean your assistant coach is only there 1 day a week or whatever? And I'm like, but I get 7 days of work out of her in 2 hours because she's that good of a coach. The program moved forward. We've had a lot of good people here along the way, but Audrey was here my first year and then went on her own path and came back 4 or 5 years ago. Our growth really accelerated as soon as she came back. She's a solid coach in every aspect, but especially in middles. I think that our style of play reflects her influence on the program, but also our culture, our tone. A lot of it is due to her. It doesn't mean it does not say anything about Alex and Jenna. Jenna has been here every day this season, working her butt off. Alex was a player here, and then as an assistant coach has done invaluable work on and off the court with our players. I'm really fortunate to have a staff that we have. There are coaches out there that have full-time assistants and get have more resources to acquire coaching talent. We don't have a ton of that, but we've gotten, I think, some of the best, and I think that's reflected. When you see our serving game, and when Alex comes in, you see it just pick up because everybody wants to. They see her, and they want to serve a little harder and serve a little more accurate and whatnot. Ball control as well. Jenna's a little more fiery. I'm kind of laid back, and Jenna can get excited sometimes, which is good. It's the kind of a yin and yang thing for us, and it's a really solid crew, and I hope the players will agree. But I think that the assistant coaches are really doing a great job, and opening doors for them and pointing things out that maybe they haven't seen yet. And like I said, we've got a couple weeks left, and hopefully even the seniors are still improving a little bit to make sure we accomplish our goals.
Last year and the year before with both NJAC championships. First of all, talk about 2017, just how you felt beating Stockton, getting the monkey off your back, and then talk about 2018 and getting your 200th win and just the way that NJAC volleyball tournament played out.
I mean, you can go back and look at the numbers. I'm guessing it felt like it was our 83rd year in a row losing in the semifinals. So after that, I'm like, is this really how it's going to be forever? And, I said, and I'm like, guys, just get past the semifinals. I will gladly go 0-10 the following year, like whatever. And so we went undefeated that year and won the NJAC. And it was, it really was like, it was a relief. It was exciting. It was fun. It was, everything that I'd hoped it could be and more. The group of players we had that season was really special. The effort and the willingness to put each other first. That was a just a phenomenal team to be a part of, and to see how everything came together. Last year we scheduled tough. We decided we were going to go after some of the best teams in the country, as John mentioned a little bit ago. We didn't get a lot of them, so our record didn't look as shiny. But we were a better team, honestly, and it was a professional and efficient volleyball team. And it's probably, I told people when I got here in 2009, last year's team was the team that I dreamt of building. And now when we got it, and the volleyball world had kind of moved on over that 10 years time. But I mean, that was the team that I'd always wanted to put together, what we could do and how efficient we were and whatnot. And so, late in the season, it didn't look like it was going to click, and that we were, I think, 1-6 or something like that down the stretch. I mean, played the number 2 team in the country, the number 20 team, whatever. But you want to, we'd be winning games going into the postseason, and things just took shape and fell into place, and our girls responded. And it was a really exciting run, and we got up to Providence and took a game off Wesleyan, who ended up 2 points away from the Final Four. You can't ever guess what would happen, but I mean, if we had been a little deeper, a little whatever, I think that could have been we were almost there. And we lost a lot of important pieces from that team. This year was rebuilding. Our seniors had to take on more on their shoulders this year than our seniors have in recent years. We've had a very deep collective effort, but we had, four players coming in this year that play roles that they hadn't seen before. So, you didn't know necessarily what was going to happen, but things have come together really well, 21-8. I think if this team can get there again, this team can get there again. If this team does get there again, I think it's certainly got a lot to do with the upperclassmen on this team, the ones you see on the court and off.
All right, back here, Kean Sports with John and Rich, and great stuff from our women's volleyball team. I was going to go back and edit it because how long it was, but I listened. I was like, they didn't give me anything worth editing. It was everything they gave me was great stuff. And I want to thank Bri Calvano, Zoe Strozewski, Kortnee Nelson, and, of course, Coach Don Perkins for taking the time to really give us one of the best interviews we've done all season long. They really gave us some great stuff, Rich. Yeah,
no, they sound very close. Confident. I thought it was interesting that girl. I'm sorry I forget her name, but when she said when she came to school, she learned how much harder it was, and it forced her to step up her game. Yep. So saying the discipline it takes here at the college level. Mm-hmm. So, but that was a lot of good information. Long-winded.
No. Coach Perkins loves to talk, and I love listening to him. He's great. He's a joy to listen to. I love talking to him, catching up about the team and everything. He's really, really fun to listen to, and. You could definitely see how close that team is, and they're going for 3 in a row in the NJAC. So hopefully they could get it done. And FDU floor them tonight, 7 o'clock, caneathletics.com, and then the big one, Stockton, next Tuesday. That's also at 7 o'clock at Harwood Arena. So if you can't make it, tune in. Should be a good one. Let's move on to field hockey because the new national – well, first let's go to the regional rankings because the regional rankings came out, and that's big news because, regional rankings and stuff. We're in the South Atlantic, and TCNJ was at the top, expected, but Kean was number 2 in the South Atlantic. They sit at 17-1, undefeated in the NJAC, and just really good resume. They beat Ramapo a couple nights ago in the pouring rain. 2 goals from Alyssa Way, 23rd and 24th. She's 4 away from tying the single-season record and 5 away from breaking it.
Yeah, just another good win for the team. They just keep on rolling. And like you said, it was in the rain, so it wasn't just another simple game. They've let up a goal, I think.
Yeah, no, there was 30 seconds left. Belly lost her shutout, which was kind of brutal because, she was so close to it. But most importantly, they got the win. They got the dub.
And then obviously they just completely dominated Keystone.
Yeah, they did.
No shots let up. They were just controlled. It looked like they were just practicing all night. They were just free to do whatever they wanted, and they ended up winning 6-0.
Yeah, you had the call. You tell me. It was 6-0.
Jenna had a couple goals. Melissa Way had a couple goals. So Jenna had, stopped that little streak she had of not scoring and came out with 2 goals that game.
Yeah, and funny story actually with the Melissa Way goal, the second goal against Ramapo. So I guess I couldn't see out the window kind of because it was pouring, so I stuck to the monitor a lot. And when Melissa scored the goal, I guess the monitor didn't catch up to her, and it was showing Laura Stump, who was behind Melissa. And I was like, oh, that must have been Laura's goal. First goal of the season, yeah, right? I'm so smart calling the Laura Stump goal. No, I go into the press box at halftime. Oh, that was a nice goal by Laura. You idiot. It was Melissa. I was like, oh, my God. And yeah. I was like, I was looking at the monitor, and I saw Laura celebrate, and I never saw the puck or the ball go on to Melissa's stick. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. So now I got to lead in with this. And I was like, but you even announced Laura got the goal. I was like, yeah, I was going off you.
But 17 in a row. So Keystone was 16 in a row, and that was the record setter, right?
Yeah,
they had tied it priorly to 15 games in a row, the 2017 season. So 16. So now they're just out here setting the record. Yeah. See how far they could run it up before we get to the tournament.
I do have a little bone to pick, though, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but the coach's poll is brutal for field hockey because I'm going over everything that they could possibly put into this. So Kean is 10, which, isn't, fine, but it's who they have above them in Rowan. Okay, so Rowan is, what are they, 12-2, 11-2, or 11-3. They lost to TCNJ, right? So... and I'm sure this will change now, hopefully next week. But going into the week, Rowan was 11-2. Kean was 16-1. Rowan's 2 losses was to Kean and to Lynchburg. Kean beat Lynchburg. So how are you going to put Rowan above Kean? I'm sorry. It just doesn't...
And I don't even know if you could use a strength of schedule argument because Kean was like 10th in the nation.
Yeah, Kean has a better, and I checked this morning, Kean has a better strength of schedule than Rowan. What possible argument could you use for putting Rowan over Kean? It's just those coaches who vote there don't obviously watch. If you're going to vote on this, you have to know what you're talking about. And I'm sorry. I got to call it out.
It's just one poll, though.
I know. And it won't matter because...
at the end of the day, the record speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Obviously, them defeating Rowan on the field. So it could be a motivating factor to the team as well. You're saying you take that and you run with it. You go in the locker room, like, boom, look, they're saying Rowan is better than us. That we know we beat Rowan. And you get out there and you just prove it wrong. Even more so.
True.
So, it's just one poll, obviously. And Kean is doing the work on the field, and really that's what matters at the end of the day.
Absolutely. 17 straight for Kean. They are rolling, but here comes TCNJ, number 2 in the nation. They're going at you to play this game. 1 o'clock Saturday, 2nd-ranked TCNJ, 10th-ranked Kean. Wow, what a game, huh? And Coach LaFrance is excited for this one. I was talking to her briefly this morning. She can't wait to step on the field, and she's eager because even though they've won 17 straight, lately they haven't played the greatest since the Rowan game. I mean, they've been up and down. Even against Ramapo, it took them a while to get going, and she admitted it. They have to be better for when they play TCNJ.
But every win is not an easy win.
No
matter what team you talk about, in what sport, at what level, when you win that much, not every win is going to be easy or pretty win.
It's not. But if you do want to beat TCNJ, you do have to play a little better than what we've seen lately. If you play a repeat...
Keystone, they dominated. You're talking about the Rampo game. They still scored Rampo pretty fast.
Yeah, well, the first... it took them a while to get going. It took them about 10 minutes. And she even admitted it took them a while to get going. But if you play a repeat of the Rowan game, yeah, you'll have a very good shot at beating TCNJ. If it takes you a while to get going and TCNJ scores early, they've been doing it all season. They'll go back into prevent defense. They did it against Albright. They only beat Albright 1-0. They went into prevent defense. If you get down to TCNJ early, 1 or 2 goals, it's gonna cost you. I
think people sound spoiled right now just because of how much they've been winning and how easily they won so many games. That even when you win 3-1, right? It was 3-1 or 4-1? 3-1.
4-1.
4-1. That you're still talking about up here, talking about how, the team is not playing as strong or as well, or they had a hard time. They scored like a goal in the first quarter as well in that game.
I'm just telling you how they need to beat TCNJ. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with it. We do get spoiled as fans and as players when you keep winning, but it does sound a bit spoiled. You still handle the team fairly easily.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
I-
And like you
they-
said, they didn't score till the last 30 seconds, so it was that close to another shutout.
No, I'm just telling you how they need to beat TCNJ.
Yeah.
Or not how. I'm just telling you, don't get down early against them. It's not bad advice. You know? I mean, it is the best team they'll be playing. I shouldn't say that, but it is, as of to this point, the best team
If you
they've
lose
played
that
all
game,
season.
does it really?
No. I mean, if you ask Leslie, she was probably
Of course, the coach doesn't want to
she'll
lose
worry.
any
Yeah,
game.
no. But I don't think it hurts if they lose. If they're competitive and they lose, what are you, 17-2? You're fine. You're fine. But
You just can't lose in the tournament.
you're right. You can't lose the tournament.
That's it.
But yeah, Kean Field Hockey continues to roll, so check them out. I'm going to try and keep up with it as we're announcing the football game, but probably not going to have much luck, so fingers crossed they keep it going. Let's move on to women's soccer, and I sat down with Mariaelena Torres, Clare Lewis, and Coach Doherty, and Lexy Monroy. I was thinking to myself, like, who was the third one? I was just there. But, yeah, they gave us great stuff. Take a listen, and we'll talk about it after. All right, Lexy. So you started 46 out of 60 games since your freshman season. What does it mean, the trust that Coach Doherty has instilled in you straight from the jump?
I think it's pretty cool as a freshman that he had that much trust in me. I mean, I've had coaches who really didn't have trust in me, and I would not play games, and then go and show them what I can do, and they're like, "Oh, you could play." I'm like, "Yes, I can play." But I think with Coach, him having that trust in me really meant a lot as a freshman, and like through the 4 years here, I thank him for having that trust in me because it means a lot, and I really appreciate it.
You have a career high in goals this season with 5. What did you do in the offseason to improve your game that's obviously showing up in the box score?
I mean, over preseason I just focused on my fitness a lot, but I think the main thing I focused on was just wanting to be a better player in my final season. I know, like, in the past couple seasons I haven't had the best, like, in the box scores, but I think this season I've been more focused on trying my best to be the best that I could be my last season, and just trying to find the back of the net more often, and I think this season's really coming together. I think in my last season it finally clicked, like, I know what I'm capable of doing, and my teammates push me to be better every day, so I think that's what makes the difference.
Thanks, Lexy. Claire, obviously Coach has got a lot of new players, underclassmen this season. How have you helped the younger players adjust from, I guess, lower competition to college competition? Have you used any of your past experience?
Yeah, it's mostly about showing that you're a leader and being able to give an example of what to be. So I really worked hard, and I think, like, working hard, they see that and they want to do that, they want to be that. So they will achieve more for themselves, they'll work harder for themselves, and that brings a team together when you want to be better. And then in the past, like, I wasn't always the greatest, but working hard and being, like, a walk-on, it shows a lot to come from, like, so far to now.
Mm-hmm. You've been here for 4 years, obviously. Favorite moment in the last 4 years at Kean University?
I'd probably say beating Stockton last year, because that showed a lot of what we can be and that anything is truly possible.
Thanks, Claire. Mariaelena, freshman season, no goals, but we moved to this season, and now you have 9 goals and 24 points. What has changed this sophomore campaign that you've been able to burst on the scene and really lead your team?
Well, during preseason, I got called up for, the national team, and I want to thank my coach for helping me, letting me go, because I believe that it made me a better player. It made me have more confidence in myself, and I really think that that's what changed me as a player.
I'm sure everyone has helped you adjust in your time at Kean, but if you had to single out 1 or 2 players or coaches that has really helped you improve your game at Kean University, who would it be?
I believe my 2 teammates. I say Clare. Before preseason, we come together and we would go to the field and we would, work hard on each other. We would train together, and she's changed herself, so that's what makes me believe even more that anything is possible. Also, my teammate Dee, she shows that she really wants it, and she shows that we could do anything, honestly, and that's what makes me believe even more, and that's what helps us become better as a team.
Thanks, MT. Coach, 3 in a row for the squad, including 3 1-1 in your last 5 NJAC matches. It's vaulted you into a playoff spot for the NJAC tournament as we sit here today. What has this team started to do better as of late that's helped that cause?
I think echoing with the believing in themselves, believing that they can do it, growing in their confidence, understanding our style of play better. They've been very good at getting better every single time we go out, and it's something we preach a lot, and they've done a great job buying into that.
Big games against Montclair and Rutgers North coming up. It's going to have big tournament implications for you. How are you preparing this your team for these games, knowing the implications? Anything change or stay in the status quo?
No, I just think we do what we've been doing the whole time. Trying to get better every day. Come today and try and be better than you were yesterday. Continue to emphasize the things that we've been emphasizing since preseason. Playing our style of play, my job is to try and make that as simple as possible for the players. So just concentrating on that, sending them the right messages, and working what we've been working on from the start.
So it's no secret the roster size expanded a lot. I just want to hear your thinking. What was the thinking that went behind that?
Well, number one, you miss more players at practice for classes these days than we've had in the past, and so I think you need more people so that you can practice correctly. I also think it develops a culture of competition, but competition without animosity, competition where they're all helping and rooting for one another while trying to do their best as well. I think that culture of competition makes everybody better. When you see other people across from you getting better, you know that you can get better. When you see other people across from you playing better, you know that you need to get better. So I think the culture it creates helps when it comes to being successful on the field.
So some games you go pretty deep down the roster. Most games, I would say. There's some games where you stick a lot with the starters you put out there in the first half. What kind of what motivates you to either go down the roster deep with a lot of subs or stay pat with what you put out there on the field to start the game?
Most of the times before the game, it's matchups. What does one set of players do particularly well versus the competition? How can we take advantage of the competition's weaknesses with our strengths? And so those matchups help me decide a lot on who's going to be playing, who's not going to be playing. A lot of times it's just a feeling, just my gut feeling through the course of the game. And whether or not the players are playing well at the moment. If we put 11 people out there that are playing great for 90 minutes, then they're probably going to stay out there. If they lose a little gas in the tank as the game goes on, which is typical, so it's not uncommon because we play against good competition, and we ask a lot of our players. We ask them to play really hard. If somebody needs a break, that's where that big roster size comes in and helps, and we can get people the rest that they need, and then hopefully get them back into the game later on where they're fresh again. There are a lot of those are probably the two main variables, but there's a lot of other variables through the course of the week that we look at. How did they practice this week? What is their injury status like? Are they healthy? Do they have some kind of little nick that might not make them at 100% this week? What's their mental approach been throughout the course of the week in practice? How are they feeling about the game, their game experience? Would it be better to play an upperclassman in a particular game versus a freshman in a particular game? And you also want to try and keep your players sharp. So there are games where you need to go deeper into your bench to make sure that they're getting that time to help keep them at their highest level of play as well. So sometimes it's a management issue.
A lot of your seniors will take the field at home for the final time, or maybe one more after that, next Wednesday. What has it meant to you to see all your seniors grow on and off the field for the last 4 years?
Yeah, that growth means everything to me. That's the reason I coach, is to see that growth. There's no better feeling in the world to me to sit there and watch a particular player get it when it clicks for them. And when you have seniors that are doing that for you all the time, it makes it even better, because you know they put their heart and soul into the program. You know the commitment they've given you for the 4 years, and you want to see them successful. You know, it means everything to see them successful. Brings me a lot of happiness for them, a lot of happiness for me, and I want the younger players to see that growth as well, so that they know what they can do over the next 4 years as well. But it's the biggest reason I coach, and I love watching it.
Thanks, Coach.
Got it.
All right, back on Kean Sports with John and Rich. We're going to wrap it up real quick because we're behind schedule. So, women's soccer, big games against Rutgers Newark. First off, Mariaelena Torres, when she said national team, she meant the El Salvador national team. Just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, and I also want to thank her, Clare Lewis, Lexy Monroy, and of course Coach Doherty for taking the time, because they gave great interviews as well. They have a big game against Rutgers Newark coming up, and Montclair State. If they beat Rutgers Newark, I want to say that, yes, they clinch a playoff spot, I believe. So that's big. If they only get a point, then they don't. And then they got Montclair State, who's 6-0-1 and is also very good. So best bet, they do it against Rutgers Newark. That's Saturday night at 7:30. Let's go to men's soccer, because they have the same schedule, Rutgers Newark and Montclair State. Rutgers Newark has senior day on the East Campus on Saturday morning at 11. Maybe I can't, because I'll be getting ready for the football game. But good luck to them. If they win, do they clinch?
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, but they are in a playoff spot as we speak today. Yeah, they are. I did look at it. They dropped a tough one last night to Rampo. That was brutal, 1-0. They turned it on. I talked to Peter John. He said they just turned it on a little too late. They played a good second half, but too little too late, and they lost.
And it was their first loss since September 25th. So
yep.
Nice little run right there.
So, and we'll see how they respond against Rutgers Newark. Tennis update. Here we go. They also play Rutgers Newark. So everyone's playing Rutgers Newark. They play them today. They play them today.
Do they schedule that like on purpose?
That is non-conference. They're not in the NJAC in tennis. But tennis has won 4 matches in a row, and they're 10-6. So last time we were here, we were talking about them. They were 6-6. Now they're 10-6.
And sophomore Jada Mack was named the New Jersey Athletic Conference Player of the Week.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. We do need to wrap it up though. So closing thoughts, Richard, go.
Closing thoughts. Let's just win this homecoming game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Same for football.
Yeah.
We got to bounce back with a win.
Big upset.
The whole school should be there. It's homecoming. It's a big weekend. There'll be giveaways, so you'll see me in this crowd.
Do I qualify for that?
I need some AirPods myself.
Yeah. My closing thoughts. So real quick, everyone hears me and Rich announce games all the time, and yeah, we're pretty good, I'd like to think. But behind the scenes, I feel like everyone needs to know that there's so many people to thank. At OCIS, Asia Hunter is the absolute best. She gets everything done. The camera crews that we work with that get the replays up and going, they are the best. Whoever runs the TriCaster on that particular night, they're great. Rob over here, he gets everything ready for me and Rich. He's awesome. Kim as well, always has the stats. I was with her today. She's got me rosters. They're awesome, and everyone is great. So even though everyone always hears me and Rich announce games, everyone behind the scenes does double that. They are just awesome.
Sounds like you're looking for a race.
No, I'm
not. Well, of course we appreciate everybody.
No, I had this typed up and had the thoughts out last night, and I was like, you know what, I got to.
This is when he knocks on Asia's door later, like, hey, did you hear what I said about you
Asia,
on the radio?
If you're listening to this, don't think that. No, everyone. I just wanted to, thank everyone because I mean everything is awesome. I got replays
of course, everyone
and
does a great job.
Yeah, they're the best. So, yeah. Again, thanks to the volleyball team and women's soccer for making this show happen. And we'll be here next week. Don't know exactly who's going to be on, but we'll definitely have somebody on.
And next Thursday is the Halloween game, the final field hockey game of the season. It'll be 7:30 at night.
Yes. All right, from all of us here at CAS, John Mastice, Richard Zeller,
Out.
Rob Bergman, so long, everyone, and join us next week. Take it easy, fellas.